Do you know what I think we should do? We should just do a normal show, and then at the end we toss a coin, and that determines whether we come back or not. So if it's heads, the series ends, and if it's tails, we're back again next week. That's what I think we should do.
It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome, and I have to start this week by saying that I'm recording this show wearing shorts, and it feels amazing. The weather has improved, the temperature has shot up, and it just feels great to have thrown off those handcuff style trousers that I have to wear during the winter and be back wearing shorts, which feels so much more natural. So with that in mind, let's put up our slogan of the week. This week it is, brighter is better. The weather has improved, my mood has improved, and I think I can say that 98% of the people that I know and have met this week, their mood has improved as well. Everyone's just walking around with a little bit of a spring in their step and a smile on their face, and people are talking to each other again and just looking and feeling generally better about the state of the world, which is wonderful considering how things are at the moment. Let's do our fascinating fun fact from a Friday then. Now, slight change this week and a little confession maybe that this fact isn't something I learned in the past 7 days, but it is something I was reminded of. I knew this a while ago, I thought it was great, and then I'd obviously put it on a file on the computer for fun facts that I could do. And I found it again this week and I went, oh yeah, and I can't remember whether I've used it or not. I have a sneaking suspicion, this might just be producers paranoid, that I might have mentioned this earlier in the series, right back in the sort of episode 3 or 4, something like that. I'm not sure, but I'm going to give it to you again anyway, because it's a good one. So here we go. Something I haven't learned in the past 7 days, but I've been reminded of that I'll share with you. Air Force One is only designated as such when the president is on board. President Nixon resigned mid-flight, so it instantly stopped being called Air Force One. Therefore, it is the only plane in the world that has officially had more takeoffs than landings. I find that fascinating, and I shared it with you. Now, have I been sitting in the garden or maybe watching birds? Let's find out. It's time for my week in 10 words. So this is when I let you know what I've been up to in the past 7 days using exactly 10 words. Ups and downs, recording podcast, everything else was just lovely. Yeah, the ups and downs things kind of sums up the whole week. It's the reality of human life, isn't it? That you kind of go like this, and you have peaks and troughs, and you have days when you're sailing along and days when things feel a little bit rocky. That's what the early part of the week was like for me, and I think it was Monday. I had a day of doing that, a day where I was going from feeling great to not feeling so great, and you just have to kind of get through it and do your work the best that you can. At the end of the day, you've survived another day, and you've ridden all the ups and all the downs. Recording a podcast, this is a new venture that you may have access to soon, depends whether we think it's good enough or not. And everything else was just lovely, you know, the weather, the activities I've done, the way I've been feeling has generally been lovely, and long may it continue because it's been a very nice week for that kind of thing. So let's go on to the purple card then, which of course is now green and has its own theme song. Oh, that's better. If you are a hippie, then man, I dig your scene. Let's see what I've written on the card that's green. You know, you sometimes have days when your mouth just doesn't seem to be working properly and forming the words you want it to form. Case in point. Not great when you're doing something like this, but we are going to crack on. So the green card is where I just write stuff down. Not much on it this week because I've been a little bit distracted by other things. But one thing I have written down here, genius steals from talent, I just steal from myself. Again, it's a little bit of a confession. If you've watched the little YouTube serial I filmed, which is called Bobby and Rob, one of the songs that is in that serial uses the same chords from the Purple Card theme song. It wasn't a deliberate thing, it just kind of happened. But I just thought, because I'd noticed it, other people must have noticed it, so yeah. My creative veins only flow so far. There's only so much that I can come up with that's original, so I've started stealing from my own songs. So what are we going to do next? For some reason I've thrown away my little playlist for the show. Oh yeah, okay, so last week, a couple of times, I might have mentioned hay fever. And a few people have been speaking to me about it this week. Fellow sufferers, also people that don't suffer from it. And someone said to me a wonderful thing this week, which was, don't end up hating the trees. They are producing pollen naturally. It's not their fault you have a reaction to it. You need to make friends with trees. I've always been a fan of trees. I go out, I hug trees, I talk to trees, I do all that fun stuff. But it was a good point. I thought, what's the best way that I can make my peace with tree? I know, let's choose an official tree of the Daylight Midnight Show. So what I'm going to do is fire up the computer here. And if I can remember my password, put it in there. And we're going to have a go at one of these online things. We haven't done this since earlier in the season. And I don't think we've done this on a previous season. What is the official tree of the Daylight Midnight Show? So I am using a website called BuzzFeed that I've used before. Anyone can put quizzes on here. And what I like about this one is that, unlike some of the other ones I looked at, they're not sort of farming information from you. They're not trying to sell you something at the end of it. It's literally just a fun quiz that you can do. And this was actually uploaded on New Year's Eve last year, so it's quite a recent one. This personality quiz will reveal what type of tree you are. Now, I'm going to be answering for us on behalf of all the Daylight Midnight Show people, and we're going to decide what the official thing is. And then if we have another show, I'll put it up on the Door of Delights. Trees, it tells me here, they are a constant in our world. Dependable, strong, weathering with us through every season. Sometimes they grow with us. Whether you're the tree climbing type, the tree hugging type, or the sit under a tree and read kind of person, there is a tree that matches your vibe. So here we go, into the questions. Straight away, what is your favourite season? This is an American website, so we've got fall, summer, spring and winter. Now, spring at the moment as I'm filming this, and I'm absolutely loving it. I love watching everything change. But I think if you asked me consistently throughout the year, I would go with summer. Because part of the thing with spring is you're enduring winter and then everything starts to feel better. If I had to choose a season to live in, I would go summer. I love the 18 hours of daylight. I love the hot temperatures. I would go with that. Question number 2, how do you go green? Okay, unexpected question. Growing your own garden, lower your carbon footprint, reusable water bottles or recycling. I'm not a gardener. I do reuse water bottles. I have a thing about recycling that I won't go into now because of the rules of the show. Not sure there's any point in it anymore. So I'm going to go with lower my carbon footprint because I do try not to travel unless I absolutely need to. Choose a place to go on vacation. The Maldives, Europe, Aspen or Maine. Europe is a very broad-reaching one there, isn't it? Maine looks very nice in the photo, but I've kind of been in that area before. I'm going to go with the Maldives because there's a beautiful picture on here that you can't see of some beachside huts. And again, with the summer thing, that's the kind of holiday I would like. Choose a superpower. Super strength, teleporting, invisibility or flight. I have to go with flight on that one. The idea of soaring above everything and looking down takes over all those other ones. Which word best describes you? Chill, friendly, thoughtful or outgoing. I suppose, well, the fact that I'm thinking about it a lot probably says I'm quite a thoughtful person. I'll go with thoughtful because I'd like to think that I'm thoughtful of other people, and I do have a lot of thoughts going on all the time, so let's go with thoughtful. What is your favourite colour? Blue, purple, green or red? The easiest question you could ever ask me. Green is my favourite colour, and it is so far clear of the other ones that they couldn't see them with a telescope. Choose your favourite animal: sea turtle, polar bear, squirrel or deer. I think of those ones, I'm probably getting drawn towards the squirrel. You know, it's small, it's feisty, it zips around a lot. And maybe because of the fact that in the picture it's a red squirrel, which is the native squirrel in Britain. So I will go with squirrel. What do you like best about nature? Ooh, animals, plants, landscapes or weather. Weather isn't something we can control. Ooh, you see, I do love birds. If birds were in there, I might go for that. But I think if I was surrounded by animals but had a terrible view, that wouldn't be as nice for me as if I had a beautiful view and there were no animals. So I'm going to go with landscapes for that one. Oh, and the answer is a coconut tree. I've got to be happy with that. I mean, my favourite taste tests episode that I never did, coconut was going to be high up there. So yeah, apparently we are coconut trees. Fantastic. So the official tree of the Daylight Midnight Show is the coconut tree, which I have to say I'm delighted about. And normally you get like a little personality reveal, don't you, at the end of this, that tells you why you are like a coconut tree. We're not getting that. So I'm glad then that I printed out something else, which is to do with Celtic tree astrology, which is something that somebody else mentioned to me this week. Now, it's astrology, right? So you've got to take this with a pinch of salt the size of Alaska. But according to, I don't know if this is a recent thing, I suspect it is quite a recent thing, so I don't think we're going back too far, but there's this Celtic tree astrology, and depending on when you were born and where, you are matched to a particular tree. So I looked this up, and apparently I'm an elder tree. I like elder trees. It means I'm loyal, ambitious, and thoughtful. And I'm described like this. Elders often long for freedom and enjoy living life on the wild side. Maybe when I was younger. You seek out thrills and adventure and always want to be on the move. Yeah, I don't like being static. You are deeply thoughtful, there's that word again, and very considerate of others and are always keen to lend a helping hand. I like to think that is true. I would like to think so. Life isn't dull when you are around. Actually, it is, because when I'm not working and when I'm not performing, I do like things to be quite simple and dull in a way. Though many assume you are shallow, you actually have a deep philosophical side to you, and you are always questioning the meaning of everything. Again, I don't want to be like contrary to this, but I wouldn't say I question the meaning of everything. I do question things a lot though. Sometimes to my own detriment, because I get caught up here and then don't do anything because I'm too busy thinking about different possibilities and what's going on behind the scenes. And apparently elder, if you're an elder tree, you are most compatible with an alder or a holly, which apparently means people born in early April or late July. So we'll see about that. But interestingly enough, if you look up people who are holly trees, it says you're compatible with elder trees. If you look at people with alder, it doesn't say anything about elders. So there you go. It's almost like people make this astrology stuff up, isn't it? And in fact, I was thinking I might do that myself. I might come up with my own astrology, and I might base it around biscuits. So depending on when you were born, you're going to have a certain biscuit type that matches your personality. And I might do that for next week's show. However, are we even going to have a next week's show? Because we're in this grey area between whether or not this is the Series 4 finale. But we're now about to find out by doing what we're calling the continuity coin toss. Or the continuation coin toss, if you like. So we've gone with heads, means we're cutting the head off the beast and Series 4 is going to finish. Tails drag behind you. So if it's tails, the series is going to drag on a bit. So I'm going to toss this and catch it, put it on the back of my hand and then reveal it. If it's heads, Series 4 is over. If it's tails, we're back next week with episode 21. So here we go. It is in the lap of the gods. It is in the chance of the coin toss. I'm not going to look until I reveal it to you. And that is a head, which means Series 4 is over. What can I say apart from thank you for your time? I hope you've enjoyed the past 20 episodes. I don't know yet whether we're going to have a short break and then relaunch Series 5 straight away. Whether this is going to be it and the Daylight Midnight show is over. You know what I'm like, it might be 3 years and suddenly I'll be back again. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. I love you very much. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to be honest, I'm missing the show already. What the hell am I going to do next week? Maybe I need this.